Hi everyone. This video I'm going to explain the final exam and the site pre-installation site report. These are two assessments, the final two assessments to assess everything that you have went through in this course, Fiber 101. So underneath Module 7, in the assignment sections, we will have the exam final 50 points in the pre-installation site survey report, 75 points due 3/15. Clicking on that, it'll open up all the information. We'll go through the final first. The final exam is a multiple choice true or false test, 50 questions, all the content, review questions and test questions are formulated all from those um, assignments and tests. So you have 2 hours, shouldn't have any problem. Just review your previous tests and you should be really good with that. The other assessment will be just like I have on the other 101 courses, we will be doing a scenario assessment, and this scenario will be a pre-installation site visit report for a fiber to the home service. So in the scenario here, it says you'll be a broadband technician. You'll be assessing the new customer's needs for fiber to the home service to their residents. Please include a simple troubleshooting example, and that could be a dirty connector, broken fiber, a variety of different things that you encountered through your modules of troubleshooting. So let's just go through these the project background description. Why will you be installing fiber to the home? And you should know those that reasoning. Why is fiber better than the other technologies? You can incorporate that in your report. Materials and equipment needed for the service. Is this going to be an overhead or underground fiber install? Why? So you should be able to determine in your scenario why you're using one or the other. What type of fiber optic service equipment will be installed? Well, you're going to have your fiber drop. You'll have some connectors. You will have an ONT and stuff like that. So incorporate that into your report. The project goals and objectives. How will this installation take place from the fiber optic service provider to the customer's ONT? So you've learned about PON, a little bit about PON. Sketch using your computer or just hand sketch and take a picture of all the service route that you'll be installing this fiber. And you can do something similar to what your existing service is. If it's cable TV, if it's just telephone, DSL service, or whatever, it's going to be a similar route what you're existing. Once again, you can use your home, you can use your friends, family member, a neighbor, whatever. This is your scenario, so it's broad enough for you to be able to figure out a good report and a good project on this scenario. Number 4, process and insight what kind of troubles might encounter. This could include prior installation, during the installation, or after the service is installed. So come up with something in that area. Solution, how did you resolve the issues you encountered and how might you document your solution? So documentation, we went through plenty of documentation. So, you're going to have a documentation for the install, once the service is up, and any type of troubles, there's going to be documentation. So somehow incorporate documentation into your report. And number 6, following an installation, what additional features and services will you provide to the customer? So maybe they were just going to be using a fiber install for their internet service, and now they might have triple play for their video service and telephone service. So you can incorporate some additional services that this customer might have added on. So with that, let's go into the rubric, how we're going to evaluate this. And here is the scenario, excuse me. All this content, 1 through 6, what we just went over. Here are your competencies. So these are actually each one of the modules. So if you're trying to incorporate one of these in one of those sections, you can go to your assignment and try to, to get some review or get some ideas on how you want to go about adding that to your report. Here's your grading skills for this rubric, and then here are the criteria that we're looking to cover. So some way, somehow, just incorporate the presentation explains Fiber X services. So why are you going to be using this service for this customer? Because they're looking for 1 gig bandwidth speeds. Okay, and then you're going to incorporate what type of installation and cable. Is it going to be overhead or underground? And compare the difference between cables. So if it's overhead, it's not going to have a messenger, but it won't have the armor protection that you would have for the underground. These are all things that you can incorporate in your report. Here you got fiber cable characteristics. What is it going to be spliced? Are you going to put a mechanical splice on it or a fusion splice, pigtail, optical equipment, your ONT. You got to have an ONT that takes the light signal and converts it to either dial tone for your voice, coax, or IP traffic for any of your data internet traffic. Any type of troubleshooting that comes into play, how you're going to test. If you had a broken fiber pigtail, maybe you want to use a VFL that you use to test to make sure that you had continuity from your fiber PED to your fiber ONT. And then with your sketching, you can create some type of symbols that you encountered in the actual mapping systems. And then presentation, explanation of fiber services, what they're using, and then documentation. So here's what you're going to get graded at. You incorporate all this stuff in your report, you'll get a perfect score of 75. And that's about it. If you have any questions, send me an email and I will try to explain in more detail, and then we'll go from there. All right, this course is getting close to be done. Thank you.